the desire to know everything, it prevents you from doing anything.
Yes.
I think in this business, it's really important for you to focus on a few carriers that you have if you're a broker, and focus on one product if you're doing insurance.
Yes.
And in this business, for me, I have been able to master the final expense arena. Now, is our agency doing Medicare and annuities? Yes. Have I ever wrote a Medicare policy? No, I don't need to. But I focus on final expense. And so when these clients are telling me they have X, Y, and Z company, I can understand what are the pros and cons of that company they may have. And can I find some pain points there that either they know about or they don't know about? And can I ask some questions to raise the stakes and then find a why?
Mike Kortang from True Wealth Financial is back for week 2. We are at Meet the Producers. We are in week 4. There will not be a call next week for those of you that are subscribers to the coaching call. There will not be a call next week. So we are wrapping up this series with Mr. Mike Kortang of True Wealth. Mike was a $250,000 producer in the field. They have transitioned. They have field agents now, and they have telesales agents. And we are on this topic called discovery. It's where the magic happens. And Mike, we're going back to you for week 2 on where the magic happens in discovery. We talked last week. We talked about finding the gap and running the gap, putting it right back in your hands, man. Let's bring it to him for week 2. What do you got for him today, Mike?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Roger, for the edification. I got to pass it back over to you as well. The LIA podcast. What a wonderful podcast. Put some fire emojis in the chat for the LIA podcast. Always dropping information every single Thursday. For me, even as a trainer, as a producer, as a builder of a team, I still am always a student. So I'm always still listening to his podcast every single Thursday, looking to at least get one new gem, Billy, one new information I can use to apply in my business. So make sure you guys are always plugging into the LIA podcast. Roger and Chris and plenty of other producers speak on those podcasts. It's always good information there. So yes, we want to go over the discovery again today. If you missed it last week, hope you can catch the recording there. But a little bit about the discovery last week. We went over if a client has no insurance, how to navigate that conversation discovery. If you're new to what insurance is or new to the business, the discovery part of the presentation is figuring out why the client needs insurance. We're trying to look at why the client needs insurance. What's their why? And then can we also, when we figure out the why, can we ask questions to dig deeper into their why? I think the discovery part, it allows, who hates when you get that at the end, Sydney, Mr. Bryant? I want to think about it. I don't give my banking out to you. Put in the chat, who can relate? I don't give my social security number out to you. Oh, can you call me back tomorrow? No, they're gonna be busy tomorrow. So the discovery, it allows you to eliminate that, Gerald, Tim. It allows you to eliminate all of that stuff at the end by you doing an effective discovery in the beginning. Can I get an amen? Just kidding. But so the discovery allows you to do that. If you do it the right way, it'll allow the presentation to just be in harmony throughout the whole entire way. So the framework of the discovery is going to be finding the why. And after we find the why, we want to dig deeper into the why, just for a little bit when we find the why. And after we find the why, I want to go over a set of, I call it additional questions, my discovery. So once again, I'm going to find the why, and I'll talk about here to how to find the why. And then I'm going to go over a different set of questions to make it find some more whys. I want all the whys, DJ. I want to find every single pain point you have. So some additional question I may go over is going to be such as, who has passed away close to you, your family or friends? That may not be their why, but I'm going to ask additional questions like that. So the framework of discovery is finding the why. I may add additional questions such as who has passed away close to you. Then at the end, I'm going to end it off, my discovery still, by asking questions to raise the stakes some more.
Mm.
Some more. I want it to be like, oh my gosh, Mike, where can I sign up? Can we DocuSign? Voice authorization? I want at the end of discovery, they want to sign up now, Miss May.
Mm.
That's the framework of the discovery. Now, is there some intricacies into it? Of course there is. Nothing's made equal here in America. There's some intricacies to it, but in discovery, I'm going to ask another part of the framework. I'll give you 2 frameworks now. Another part of the framework is going to be also, write this down, rephrasing, asking, saying stories, and asking questions. We went over this last week. Rephrasing, putting stories in there, and asking questions. And one of the best people that can speak, that can tell a good story is Roger. And Hillary always talks about the stories that he brings to us, and the stories about the Bible and this life. So he's one of the best at telling stories. And stories sell. So in the discovery, rephrasing, saying stories, asking questions. Now, and in the discovery, guys, if you're doing telesales or face-to-face, James, you're going to run into different scenarios. And these clients are professionals at throwing you off. They're professionals, Billy, at throwing you off.
They're professional thrower offers.
Yeah, yeah. And you got to get on that bull and steer them in the right direction. And, Jordan Belfort calls it a straight line persuasion. So whatever script you're following right now, here is the straight line. Here's the script you're following. Here's the straight line. And the client's going to do this to you. Oh, let's go here. But your job is to bring them right back down to the straight line of your script. Because if it goes off the script, ooh, we're bumpy now. You guys follow me? So I want to go on a straight line of the script I'm following. And these clients, they will try to throw you off, but your job is to acknowledge what they're saying to you and then bring them right back on the straight line. You want to chime in, Roger?
No, I mean, I love the framework. I think the more we can provide that. And Adam, I know as we are going through here, I'd love to be able to get some context and drop some of those notes in there. So if we've got a note taker on the call, I would love that. So if you can repeat those 3 things, Mike, that you gave us. You talked about rephrasing. No, you talked about asking questions, adding stories, rephrasing, adding stories, and re-asking more questions, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the discovery, I want to rephrase. Then I want to insert stories relatable to the client, and then ask questions. And the questions are usually raising the stakes questions. But I'm also rephrasing because no one wants to be interrogated, Sydney. So I had to rephrase to break up my pattern and put stories in there to break up my pattern, because most of your scripts you probably have questions. And you do that, you're going to start interrogating the client. So there's different scenarios that a client will give you. It's kind of like, who ever played football before or basketball? And so even like a volleyball player, tennis, basketball, everything. So for me in football, it was like, if it's 4th and 1, Billy, are we going to pass the ball, run the ball, option, field goal? In basketball, if it's 2 seconds left in the game, am I giving the ball to the point guard, the shooting guard? Are we doing a pick and roll, X, Y, and Z? So in the presentation, there's different scenarios, and you had to be ready for all of them if you want to have a high % closing rate. Now, you can be prepared for maybe 1 or 2 and close on those 1 or 2, but you're going to be just doing just enough. And you're going to be potentially in the rat race of leads and be a lead junkie. But you can be an expert at your craft. Yes, that's where I want you to be at. So if you can be an expert at different scenarios the client will give you, it will allow you to be, oh, I've been here before. I know what to say next. So the first scenario, I'm gonna go through all the scenarios real quick and write them down. I have no money, I'm on a tight budget. I have job insurance. Scenario. Desmond said, yep, I've heard that one before. All right, Desmond, good to see you, man. I just want some quotes. Give me the quotes. Give me the quotes. John, give me the quotes. Give me the all right. And then I had insurance before. Or I already have insurance right now. Now, is there probably some other scenarios that Roger or people can think of? Of course, there probably is a few others, but these are the ones I thought about. And I want you guys to understand, when I hear this from the client, my mind does not speed or race. I'm at a calm pace because I know exactly what I'm going to say next. I was talking to a new agent yesterday. He's like, yeah, Mike, I feel like I can't think because I just don't know my script. So for me, when I hear these different scenarios, I'm at peace because I know exactly where I'm going. Like Roger said, the call is labeled, what's it called? Find the gap and run the gap. So the finding the gap is figuring out what the client why is, and then we're running the gap. It's a sports terminology, but you get the gist. So if the client says, I have no money, I'm on a tight budget, that does not mean they can't afford it. No, they can afford it if there's value. Because Tyrone, no one in America says, I cannot wait to add extra bills to my budget or to my bills. No one wakes up saying, oh, I can't wait to buy some life insurance today. I can't wait. Oh, yes, God is good. But when the opportunity presents itself, they're ready to go. So when they say I have no money, I'm on a tight budget, the things that I think about in my head is that this person is already on defense mode. Mm-hmm. And I need to bring them value. I need to bring their guard down because, guys, these people can afford it. Trust me. Oh, trust me, they can afford it. I've been in many, many clients' homes, many of them, and they have the house is maybe not the best looking house, but they got a new TV, they got a new phone, they got a new car, they're smoking cigarettes. No offense, people smoke cigarettes, but they're buying a pack a day.
Xbox.
Right? So they can afford it. So do not fall into that temptation they cannot afford it. So if they say that I have no money, that's their why. I have no money. I'm on a tight budget. What I would say to that is this: hey, Miss Betty, I'm on a tight budget too. Inflation is crazy nowadays, isn't it? Eggs, milk. Like, I want to say a joke to kind of make it like, okay, he can relate to me. I have no money. Hey, Miss Betty, I can relate to that. I'm on a tight budget too. Eggs, milk are going off the chains. Can't you relate? But the good thing about these plans here today is that everyone that's a senior in your area is getting qualified for these plans because it's fit into everyone's budgets that's on fixed income right now. So with that being said, whatever part of your script next, you go to that part next. Now, guys, you can take that, what I just told you just now, but if you don't say it the right way, it won't come off the right way. I'll say it one more time, because I can tell Sydney wants me to say it again. So, Miss Betty, I can completely understand that you're on a tight budget. Most of the people that I talk to, they are too. But what I found out to find is that we can assist all of them that are on a tight budget because these plans here today are designed for you. So I'm gonna go over the options here in a second. But with that being said, and guys, I just said it differently, but you get the gist. Just you want to make them feel good. It's called empathy. Mm-hmm. And in the LIA podcast in their script, they talk about trust. and empathy. And guys, that empathy and the trust, it starts from conviction. Billy, it's conviction. And I have conviction in what I'm doing. I'm doing good. I'm doing good for the client. And I know I can take you from this mindset of I have no money, my guard is up, to Michael, thank you for what we did today. I have conviction in what I'm doing because I have heard that before from clients. And at the end, they're buying $150 a month policy or even a $30 a month policy. I don't care. As long as it cover your family is what I'm thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I have conviction knowing that I can take you from there to there, but I need to show you, I need to show you the client that you can trust me and I can relate to you. Do you want to chime in, Roger?
Yeah, I mean, Mike, the clients will give you indicators of the things that are holding them back early, typically early. I don't know if you've ever heard one of the talks I gave on the 5 real reasons why people don't buy. Adam, would you be able to add those 5 reasons? Um, no trust, no need, no want, no urgency, no money. Those are the 5 real reasons why people don't buy, right? No trust. They don't trust you. No need. You've not identified a clear need. Um, no want. It's not something that's translated into something they feel that they want to get. No trust, no need, no want, no urgency. They have not had the roadblocks removed for them to feel like they need to go ahead and be they're not emotionally connected enough to the benefit for their family, what's at risk, what's at stake. They've not had the stakes raised enough. They've not had that uncomfortable conversation that Sydney was talking about earlier, where a client actually cried on the phone. Like there was an emotional connection there about what they were doing. Clearly, she wasn't just crying because it was sunny or raining outside. It was about something else, right? And so that's where you get that want. That urgency part is tying that want to I need to do this now because it's important. And then the last part is money. And Mike, you're hit on the money part here, but they'll raise money early if they think that's an issue because a lot of people, the reason why they've never gone forward with anything like this is because they don't think they can afford it. And so they'll say things like, I can't afford it. If it's not free, I don't want it. You know, they'll come out and start saying stuff to you like this. And I like the disarming early. I think a lot of agents kind of like hear that and they think, oh, here comes an objection. Here comes, and so they have to like move past it and hope they don't bring it up again. It's better to address it. You know, you address it because you know it's coming. The money issue is always going to come up. Now, whether it would be, the time of the month whether that they're going to pay, how much money's in their Social Security, especially if you're in a final expense sale. Like I find out a lot of those things up front because I want to know what I'm dealing with. And I'd rather address it before we get there. And so I love, Mike, the way you did that. A lot of agents will say when they say, well, I don't have any money, I can't afford anything. If this is not free, then I'm not interested. A lot of people might say, well, these are affordable. I want to assure you they are affordable. But and they'll just move past. It's okay to pause there for a moment. I completely understand, Miss Betty. In fact, we deal with thousands of people around the country every single day, and these programs are designed specifically for people who are on fixed income, Social Security, or disability. Do you fall into one of those categories? Yes. Well, great news. These plans are designed specifically for you, and they're affordable, I assure you, and we help people with them every day on Social Security limited budgets. That's what these plans are designed for. And so I'll get to that in a moment. The good news is you get to choose how much you want to put in the plan. That's up to you. I don't get to tell you that. So I just want to set that, I just want to give you peace of mind before we go on here. But let's get back to why you were requesting information. So what you're doing is you're addressing it. You're hearing them, you're acknowledging it, right? You're giving them a reply, but you're not going in and giving them pricing right here. A lot of people want pricing, so you're staying on the straight line that he talked about, staying on the straight line, and now you're coming back to what? The emotional connection. They want to keep it transactional. You need to stay in the emotional lane. Remember, they have their job, you have your job. They're trying to stay on the transactional lane. You need to have it in the emotional lane because this is an emotional investment for someone they love. They don't get to come home with a new car or a new TV on the wall. They don't get the Xbox. They're not coming home with a brand new pack of cigs that they get to pop open and have a fresh one. They don't get that. It's a benefit, it's a promise, and it's peace of mind. And so this is an emotional sale. Never forget that. A lot of you, because of your discomfort with being emotional yourself and going there with clients, you try to keep it transactional because it's more comfortable for you. Trust me, if they're transactional and you're transactional, you're only going to get the very, very, very lowest hanging fruit and the laydowns that anyone could have got. That's the only sales you're going to get. Your leads are going to cost a lot of money. You're never going to be great at this, and you'll be in survival mode your entire career. So, Mike, I love it. I love where you're going with this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk about the next scenario. This scenario that I think a lot of people can relate to, and it's going to be I already have job insurance. All right, it's a different scenario. Clients that already have job insurance. Now, if you're doing like final expense sales, you probably won't run into this too much, but it's going to happen here and there. And you're probably trying to navigate where to go with this. I put the already have job insurance similar, not all the way, similar to the category of already have insurance. And I think that already have job insurance, already have insurance. It's really, really important as you grow in your career to hit your goals and your aspirations you want to be in this business, is to really study your craft. It's going to be really, really helpful for you to study carriers, study products, study the companies. And it's important for you to, when you have a presentation for a client, they say they already have job insurance or they have an insurance carrier with XYZ company, and you don't maybe close on that sale. Maybe you do close on the sale, but you don't understand what that company's maybe pros and cons are. It's good for you to talk to your coach, your mentor, your upline, your down, whoever it is that's went at your agency, and say, hey, this client had this carrier here. I didn't really know much about them. Can you tell me more about them? Like early in my career, I did that. And I was the biggest nerd when it comes to insurance. I was the one that was reading all the PDFs with different carriers on the weekends and all the riders and different under.
Me
You too,
too.
Roger?
Me too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got really good at like 5 of them, man. Like there was 5 carriers. You couldn't even ask a question. I knew the answer about 5 carriers. Now you get to 6 and 7. I don't know those other ones, but man, I had 5 of them dialed in. Like I knew everything. I knew the names of the sales support people at the company. I knew the names of the 3 or 4 underwriters at the company. I knew customer service. I knew how to order supplies. I was having boxes of PDFs and books show up at my house with like underwriting guides and agent guides and brochures. I knew everything about 5 carriers. That gives you a lot of power, Mike, when you're in
It
a
does.
call, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And you mentioned something to me, not to me, or maybe it was on podcast, I forget, but you said, I wrote it down, the desire to know everything, it prevents you from doing anything. The
Yes.
desire to know everything, it prevents you from doing anything. And I think in this business, it's really important for you to focus on a few carriers that you have if you're a broker, and focus on one product if you're doing insurance.
Yes.
And in this business, for me, I have been able to master the final expense arena. Now, is our agency doing Medicare and annuities? Yes. Have I ever wrote a Medicare policy? No, I don't need to. But I focus on final expense. And so when these clients are telling me they have X, Y, and Z company, I can understand what are the pros and cons of that company they may have. And can I find some pain points there that either they know about or they don't know about? And can I ask some questions to raise the stakes and then find a why? Like
Mm.
last week, we talked about you guys sometimes find the why by you just, especially the client already has job insurance or they already have insurance. Key thing, the client already has insurance, they have job insurance. You can become a really, really assassin in this business if you understand what cares they may have right now and already have job insurance. For job insurance, we all know that, hey, Ms. Betty, so your job insurance you have right now, out of curiosity, um, when you leave the job, what's going to happen? And they'll go, majority of them, they're going to tell you, oh, well, it ends. But the client told you in the front and already have job insurance, I'm good to go. But when you actually are a professional and you're a master of craft, you ask that question, the client gets said, oh, man, I can't, this guy knows, he or she knows what they're talking about. I can't steamroll through them, Tamika. So I already have job insurance. Hey, that's amazing. I'm glad you already have insurance. So clients that already have job insurance. I'm not just going to ask them a straightforward question unless you're straightforward, sure to do it, but I'm going to kind of make them feel good. I'm so glad you already have insurance right now, Miss Betty. A lot of folks I talk to, they have nothing. So I'm glad you already have some coverage right now. That speaks highly of you as a person. Now, out of curiosity though, insurance you have right now, is that going to cancel when you leave that job? That right there, Billy, was a curious tonality. And when you're curious of people, by nature, they want to help you figure it out.
Hmm.
They want to help you figure it out. Like if you're lost somewhere in New York City, like, can you help me to find where to go? People, oh yeah, here, go here, go here, go here. So when I use out the client, they want to help me. Like, oh, they're like, well, actually, it's going to end when I retire. It's going to end when I retire. Yeah, I won't have nothing in place. Boom. I just found the why. Like I said earlier, the framework of discovery is going to be find the why. After you find the why, ask some questions to raise the stakes there, just a little bit, for me at least, is my process. After I find the why, I'm going to then maybe go over some additional questions to get maybe more whys that it was not covered. And then at the end, I'm going to raise the stakes all the way up.
Hmm.
All the information that I covered or discovered, and then we're going to the next part of the script. So here, the clients that already have job insurance, I ask that question, they answer the question, and then I ask the client, so when you retire with no insurance, and you're gonna be a lot older, and insurance gets more expensive as you get older, what are you gonna do then? So I added a statement in there, May, because I'm trying to plant some seeds in their mind. I said, so when you retire from that job, when you're a lot older than you are now, because insurance goes up when you get older, what are you gonna do? More coverage. And now they have to tell me, Brenda, what their plan of attack is. Well, I don't know. I don't have anything. And when they tell that to you, which is probably the answer, you just sit there, you do what's called a verbal cue. Talk about last week. Say, gotcha. And what that does, Tyrone, it allows the client to sit there and think about what they told you just now, because it makes no sense. It allows them to think about in their mind, man, I just told them that when I retire, I have no insurance. But if I go too soon to my next part of my script, they won't actually be able to reflect on what they just told me just now. You want to chime in, Roger?
Yeah, I like that. I've heard that so many times. I have insurance at work. The nice thing about asking a curious question rather than taking a position and telling them things, one, it gets the client to defend or refute their own position. And when they're defending their position, when they're refuting their position, it has to make logical sense, right? So when you put them when you curiously ask them the question, you're not being the salesperson. You're being someone who's curious, helping them discover what it is that they need. It's so easy for us to go into telling mode, and telling is not selling. Let me say it again. Telling is not selling. Write it down, write it down, write it down. Too many of us get great at telling, and we think our words are the words that convince them. Boy, the questions you ask are the most powerful things a great communicator has in his arsenal. I'm so glad that you have insurance at work. Before we move on, I'm assuming you're planning on retiring at some point or not working. Can I ask, do you know what happens to that insurance when you retire or when you finish work? And just leave it there. Now they have to tell you, I don't know. I think it goes with me. I think it's mine for life. They're gonna start making up stuff because you'll know and they'll know that they're scrambling and reaching. And then you have an opportunity as the advisor to not just jump in and tell, but follow it up and ask some more questions. Well, is that something that you like, not knowing what's going to happen when you leave work? Would you like to be more certain about that? Would you like to be more certain that your family is protected? Like these are great probing questions. And obviously I'm a big question asker. I teach great questions, and it gives you all the power in the conversation. So telling's not selling. The person who asks the best question wins. He who's doing the least amount of talking wins. So as an advisor, if you're doing the least amount of talking and they're answering your guided questions, that doesn't mean you sitting there and listening to them talk about the 4th of July party that happened 2 years ago when one guy blew off his finger, and then it goes way down a rabbit hole, and the cat came along and got the finger and they were going to put it back on, and the next thing you're 20 minutes into this really weird conversation. I'm not talking about them talking like that. I'm talking about them like, following and speaking to your questions and staying on track. But yeah, you hold the power with great questions. And so I love how you address that. Defending their position is powerful when you ask them to do that.
Yeah, that's so good, Roger. I mean, the fact that he said hear me okay?
Yeah.
The fact that you brought up the fact that clients will go on a long tantrum about something not related to insurance, and you're thinking that I'm just being a nice person to make it. I'm gonna keep listening to them. I'm building trust and empathy. This is so good, and they're talking about the 4th of July. No, guys, my biggest mistake my first 3 months. As a result, I was making very, very little sales.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind, as Roger, I do have a quick 2-minute just recording I want to share on this topic here, and I'm gonna just play it real quick and let me know if you guys can hear it.
Mike, while you're getting that queued up, I just want to say this. We just dropped an episode. I think it was Chris and I think we dropped an episode called "You're Too Nice to Sell." It came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't know if you guys heard that podcast, but it was about this. It's about not being authoritatively directive and asking good questions to control the conversation. And that one's taken off. Actually, it's getting a bunch of views on it. So there it is right there. You're too nice to sell. So that kind of goes down that vein, man. I used to listen to people talk about the craziest stuff ever, thinking I'm building a relationship. And I did not have authority with that person. I was just someone who was listening to them because no one had in the past 3 days. And you're the first person to stand in front of them or sit in front of them or be on the phone with them. And they just want to use up all your time until their grandkids come home. And then they immediately tell you, I got to go. And you didn't get to do anything that you planned on doing, but you listened to all their stories. So yes, take control. All right, Mike, let's hear what you got.
Yeah. And you also got to watch the podcast that dropped yesterday with Ashley. That was amazing.
Yes.
That was
Can you drop
great
that one in there, Adam? Anyway, go ahead. Thanks for that plug, Mike. I appreciate that.
Up to 3 or 4 steps to automatic.
You guys hear it?
What you mean? Because on TV it says.
All right. So real quick, guys, this is a call. This is a presentation I did about 3 years ago. It's me with a client. I'm gonna play just about a minute of it, and I want you just to hear of how I am so curious. And I'm not telling. Real quick.
You have to pay like $9.95. Mm-hmm. You see on TV all the time? It's okay, but I have burial insurance back in Mississippi. Okay, amazing. And I have Colonial Pen. You got Colonial Pen? Nice. The one that you see on TV all the time? It's okay, but they said lock in the rate, but you don't get that much. What you mean? I'm confused. You have to pay like $9.95. It's depending on you pay $9.95. You got to go up to 3 or 4 steps to automatically get. What you mean? Because on TV it says no. They lying? Yeah, they lying. Huh? Man, they didn't stop lying to these folks. When you start out with $9.95, I know they go by your age. $9.95 in coverage. You may start out with $1,000, and then you gotta get another second unit. It raised up to $2,000 or $3,000. So
you get the gist. Now, my AirPods back in. Hear me okay?
Yes.
Guys, trust me, at that point in my career, I was doing like 40 apps a month. I knew a lot about Colonial Penn. But I was so curious with the client, and he wanted to help me to understand what he was dealing with. And guys, this was the first 2 minutes of the presentation, which is discovery. And now the client at that time, he wants to help me to figure out what I even asked him what the coverage amount, the premium. He started pulling the paperwork, and he showed, hey, this is what I have, this is what I have, this is what I have. That's a great example of, help me out, Roger, of not telling the client what they have, but just being curious. By you doing that, they will tell you what they have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the power is in when you play the curious advisor. They're now teaching you. They become like, I want to tell you what I know, and they're teaching, and they will actually tell you why what they've got is terrible if you let them. And instead of you moving over the top of that and saying, well, we can do better, we can do better. When the client takes the position. So Chris always says this: an internal need once verbalized becomes a want. If you can get your client talking about the thing that they feel like they need, it becomes something that they passionately want. Sometimes that emotion is demonstrated in quiet emotion with a tear. Sometimes it's an angry emotion. It's a frustrated emotion. But if you will get them speaking about those things, they will tell you what they need, and you then become a person who's simply helping them get what they need and get what they want. You move away from being the person who's selling them something that you want them to buy. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So those are some of the different scenarios the clients will give to you. And once again, when you hear the why, you want to just identify the why, ask some questions. I call it poke the bear, or you want to say it. You poke it a little bit, you ask some questions. You want to challenge your client here a little bit in a respectful way. And now they're going to pretty much tell you what their why is. When I get this stuff here, though, Sydney, I'm not just done. Because after I do this part here, which is really just in the part of like, this is the part of pretty much of your asking them, part in your script, do you have insurance? Do you have no insurance? Like that should be pretty early in your discovery. Do you have it or do you not have it? So we pretty much did that just now. That's a different scenario we just covered. And we were covering these scenarios of why we're asking questions to, poke some curiosity, have them tell us the why more in depth. After we do this part here, I'm going to go next into asking questions such as, okay, well, Ms. Betty, I know that you have Colonial Penn right now, but have you ever experienced a funeral before in your friends and family? Because asking that set of questions there, Philip, is going to maybe have me understand more of a why they need insurance. Maybe they have a funeral they went to a month ago, and they saw that it was so hard for someone to have not enough coverage. Or they saw the funeral and it cost $20,000, but they only have $10,000 in coverage. And that's the reason why they want more insurance now with us. But you would never know that if you don't ask certain questions like, who passed away last to you? Did he have any coverage? Was it burial cremation? What was the coverage amount? Like those sort of questions. And I'm sure in your script, you probably have a certain amount of questions going over this funeral questions part. Now, disclaimer, this part of the script here your tone in your voice has to come down a little bit to here. We're talking about a sensitive topic. And this is how you build empathy and trust when your voice comes down to there, especially in this funeral part of the script. Discovery. This is the hardest part, Sydney. I get that. But this is the part that you need to go through to get to that next level of your sales process. And you can start off by just using your voice to come down to here. Me and Tony were listening to a presentation yesterday together, one of my best friends, and we were figuring out that this client told the agent, yeah, my mom passed away last week, Friday. The agent was a little bit sympathetic. The agent, a minute later, said, okay, so your mom passed away last week, Friday. Is that why you're looking to get some coverage today?
Hmm.
You're doing that right on your script? Don't do that anymore. Because I'm your friend. I'm here to help you.
Mike's being nice. That was not his reaction. His head went like that, exploded.
Correct.
We had one in South Carolina. Tony, I think you were at this one in South Carolina, where we did a telesales boot camp, and there was a young man there trying to navigate it, figure it out. But man, the last thing he wanted to do was sit at his desk and dial. So he was trying to find everything else he could do other than sit at his desk and dial. He was busy moving things around, like let's move some papers, and I'll move my phone over here, and maybe the light is not just right, and I'm going to change the curtains. I need to go make myself a snack, and then I got to go to the bathroom, and then I'm going to go check outside to see if it's still raining, and all these things, right? And so the second day we were there, and I was like, I'm just going to park by this dude and see what happens. And I just went and parked by him. He looked at me and he goes, hey, what's up? I said, I'm just going to hang here with you, man. I'm just going to listen in now for the rest of the evening. I'm with you. It's just you and me. It's like 6:30, and he's like, oh crap, I got to go to 8:30, and Roger's sitting next to me. And that was the last thing he wanted to do. Man, he started to squirm, but he started dialing, and guess what happened? In about 7 minutes, he's into a full-blown conversation. First time I heard him in a conversation, like in 4 hours. And I sit down next to him. 7 minutes later, he's having a conversation. And we're just a few minutes into this conversation, Mike. And she said she was younger. She was in her 50s, late 50s. And she said her husband, this was in like February or March. And she said she just lost her husband in November. And the very next question out of his mouth was, did he have coverage? That was the very next question out of his mouth. It was like zero empathy, man. It was like, and I went like this. Oh my gosh. Right? I'm whispering in his ear. I'm like, she just lost her husband 4 months ago. They've been married for 20-something years. She's raising a family on her own. Please show a little empathy. If this was your sister-in-law, how would you take that news? Have a conversation with her like that. So then he's like, and then, trying to rewind and go back to the empathy piece. But man, people they get stuck. They think they need to say the words on the script. They're trying to get back to the script because that's what they're supposed to do. Say those words that are on that script so I can get to the quotes. And then if I get a quote, maybe they'll pick one, and that's not our job, ladies and gentlemen. That's not our job. Our job is to uncover that internal need and get them to talk about it and be a real human to the human on the other end of the phone. And if you do, they will open up. You build trust. They will open up, and that discovery becomes your superpower. It is the unlocked superpower in life insurance sales is the discovery. And once you get good at the discovery and you can get present there, ask great questions and listen and be empathetic. So I like how you say change the tone, Mike. That probably needs to be written in your script. If you got a script and that's not written in there and you start asking the more sensitive questions, just put a little note right over that, like right with a red pen, change your tone as a little reminder. When I was doing the field sales, Mike, and we had the presentation, the flip chart presentation for field sales, we had the little trifold one. So we didn't just have the one, but we had one that popped out on a trifold and you could flip it over. And I had the exact copy of the sheet on the back as they were seeing on the front. And so I would kind of sit beside them and I'd have this little trifold open so they could read the words and I would be pointing to some of the stuff on the little flip chart. And on the back, my flip chart had little notes, had little sticky notes added with in red ink, like tone, like pacing, like raise the stakes. Like I had the notes put to myself where I was supposed to put them. Now they didn't see it. Now if they flipped it around, they would have seen all my weird notes and it would have been really awkward. But they never did, you know. So, but I had my cheat sheet notes on the back because I had to remind myself because we get into this, Brenda, we get into this place where we're just trying to read the script. We're trying to just get through the words so I can flip the page, Desmond Kane. And that's not our goal. Our goal is not to get to the next part of the question. Our goal is to connect. Thanks, Mike, for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know we're towards the end of our call. So the last part here on go over in the framework of discovery, we found the why. We talked about the different scenarios of what the why can be. We asked some additional questions, maybe the funeral questions. And then the last part is going to be, like I said before, we're going to raise the stakes even more with the information we just learned in the last, let's say, 6 to 8 minutes. We're going to raise the stakes even more by asking questions such as, okay, Miss Betty, I understand that right now you don't have enough insurance in place. Sorry, I understand, Miss Betty, you have no insurance right now in place for yourself. So God forbid you passed away last night. Who we want taking care of your final expenses today? Your son, John. Does he have enough finances to pay for out of pocket? He does not. Okay. What would he have to do? What would it look like for him? Have to come out of pocket while he's grieving to pay for your final expenses? It'll be hard on him. Why is it so important to you then? Boom, boom, boom. So that's the reason why you want to have something in place for yourself. There's no burden that put upon your loved ones. Which is a set of questions. You can take some out, but there's some questions you want to add towards the end of discovery, trial close, you can maybe call it. But I say raise the stakes or whatever it means. Like you ask questions like such as, how does it make you feel knowing that you can have some insurance in place to protect Johnny and Stuart when you pass away? Because right now you have the job insurance that's only covering you while you're at your job. Like you want to ask certain questions towards the end of discovery to raise the stakes. There's a plethora of questions you can ask. There's just a few of them. And you want the client to tell you how they feel and have them actually buy into what you're going to be doing today. Some clients may say, well, honestly, I have no insurance right now, but my son, he has enough money to pay for this, right? I have no insurance, Mike, but my son has enough money to pay for my burial. Almost Betty, I'm asking this. That's amazing. I'm glad he has enough money. So what you're telling me is that when he's grieving, you want him to come out of pocket to pay for your final expenses? No, I don't want that. So help me to understand you some more. So that is a discovery. I can go on and on about it. I love teaching about the discovery part. Like I said, it helps you to eliminate. Yeah, like Tony said, are you okay with that? Good question. Like the discovery allows you to eliminate I want to think about it. I want to talk to my daughter about this. I love that one. I don't have my banking information on me. It allows you to eliminate all of that. And once you do the discovery the right way, before you show the options at the end of your presentation, you want to bring back some of this stuff up again. I said again, once you find the why, once you find the reason, they're telling you what the reason is, they're confessing everything. Before you show the options at the end, wherever that is in your script, you want to bring up these things again to them. So that's all I got, Roger. Hopefully that was helpful, man. I love the discovery. I love training about this. I get a little excited. Sorry if you think I'm yelling at you. I'm not. I just get a little amped up. So if someone in your background, who's that guy yelling at you right now? Just say it's Mike. I'm just your friend. Okay.
I love that. Mike, I added in here what we list as our 4 big stakes questions. You guys can grab these copy them. I recommend you copy them. When we're in our boot camp, sometimes I'll write them on the whiteboard and we'll stick them up at the front so people don't forget to go there. We even have an info sheet. Adam, I don't know where that info sheet is. I need to get that available. It's an intake sheet where it's basically a client intake form where you're just taking notes on the client, and we've got some of those questions written on the form. I think Joshua has it. If you might be able to reach out, we might be able to share it here with the team. But it is a form that we hand out, and you guys can make copies of. And when you're on the phone with clients, and it has these questions literally written right on there. So it's not a script, but it's just a form that you're taking. Here's the names of their husband. Here's their kids. Here's who the beneficiary is supposed to be. Some basic information about them. Just so you can document some of that stuff. Some of the general underwriting questions. You know the form I'm talking about, Mike. We actually share that form, I believe, and we've got some questions added to it. Is this it there? Is that the one? Beautiful. Let me see if that's the one here. I'm going to try to open that up. That's it. You got it. Billy's the man. Billy's got it. Billy attended that boot camp. There it is right there. And there's the 4 big stakes questions. What does it look like for, who's it for, obviously, is the first question. But the stakes question is, what does it look like for them if this plan is not in place? And let them answer that. And how does that make you feel? Now they're defending that position. What do you want it to look like for them? And why is that important to you? Again, they're telling you how it meets their internal need and why it's important to them to take place. You're not selling them. You're asking great questions. They are selling themselves. So this is a difference between telling and being a trusted advisor. And so I appreciate you, Mike. Great stuff. We really appreciated you being on today. Today's word is independence. Independence for Independence Day. I'll leave you with a word of the day. Independence sometimes can be someone who is fiercely independent, wanting to do things on their own. Independence can also mean the fight to fulfill the dreams and desires you have and not just to succumb to what is put on you. There's many ways that we can look at this word independence, but here's one of the things that I will say about the people on this call. Most of you on this call, if not 100%, are independent life insurance agents. And you're here chasing something that you want to get better at so you can build a better life for you and your family. There's something inside here that you're trying to unlock, a next level that you're trying to get to. And I commend you for your independence and pushing through. You did not have to show up today to this call. A lot of people have already shut it down for the week because it's 4th of July weekend. But I will tell you, when independence recognizes what it is that they're fighting for, and then they can also recognize that other people who are fighting for independence and fighting for their goals and dreams for their family have different skill sets than what you have, and you can come together and recognize those differences inside of a community that's willing and able to support you. You can take what is now the trait that unites us all, this fight for independence, and get together in a community like this, and you can continue to level up with other people who are fighting for the same thing. So surround yourself with good people. Mike just said, find yourself a good mentor who has who has what you want, who has a system that you can follow, who's willing to lead you and coach you, right? And then do exactly what they do. There's some people that look like they have what you want. They're not necessarily people that, from an integrity standpoint, you want to follow. They might have the physical things that you want, but from an integrity standpoint, they're like, like it's all got to line up, folks. Like one doesn't come without the other. The integrity has to be there and the results have to be there. Otherwise, you'll have this for a little while and then you lose it because you're chasing money or you're chasing fame or you're chasing the wrong thing. Like line up with people who will be there for you, who has a system for you. Now remember, they're independent as well. And so you can't expect them to always give. So you need to lean into that and be a support to them as well. And boy, when you find that relationship and you lean in to that other person, you can create a bond that can literally change the trajectory of your life. I found some great people in my life that I've linked arms with. Some of them I talk about on this call, others I don't. others that are outside of this industry that you never know about, but I'm in connection with them on a regular basis. And these are the people that pour into me. So even though I am fiercely independent, fighting for something that we've never done in this industry, fighting for this to be a beacon on the hill, fighting for this podcast to help more agents than any other life insurance podcast out there or a platform out there. Even though I'm fighting for that, I need great people around me to help me achieve those goals. And so I want to say thank you for showing up here on a Thursday before Independence Day. Now go this weekend, celebrate it, celebrate your independence, celebrate this country and what it can do for you. I'm not originally from here, but this country's offered me so much. And I get to meet all of you and I get to be in community with you. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you guys for showing up. We appreciate you. Thank you, Mike Kortang. Mike's family's from Ghana. My family's from Canada. This is a melting pot, guys. But we are here fighting for independence for each other because inside of you is a person that's desiring to become unlocked so you can achieve the best version of yourself. That person God has designed you to be. I know it's in there, and I know you just got to keep stepping forward to realize it. And we're here with you every day, all the way. Let's go make it happen. Enjoy this weekend and eat one extra hot dog for me, will you? Have a great weekend. Happy Independence Day. We'll see you in 2 weeks on the Life Insurance Academy coaching call. Have a great day. God bless.